All right, so I chose to do my assistive technology presentation on PhET simulations. So PhET simulations are an online simulation ran out of the University of Colorado at Boulder. They mostly cover STEM-related subjects, but have also started kind of exploring math simulations as well. And they run on HTML5, so it makes them accessible on most devices, most technological devices. So, for example, with me, it's very easily accessible on an phone or an iPad, so they're very interactive in class. Uh, so how can I use it? I use it all the time in the classroom just to kind of teach new ideas sometimes to students. I've used them as exploratory lessons. I've used them before as demonstrations. So if I'm having trouble explaining an idea to students, sometimes I use it as a visual, something to kind of give them an idea of what I'm talking about. I've also used it as a formative assessment. In those cases, usually in a lab report, I'll have students do a quiz game and I kind of get an idea of where their understanding is and if we're ready to move on or if we need to kind of spend more time in this subject. I would say that it could be used by middle school to college age students. There's definitely some simple tools to it that a middle school science teacher could use, but also I've used it in college. And even though it seems basic, there are some subtleties to it that can help refresh and kind of re-solidify ideas that you might need it in college level science classes. And I've used it at all levels of student performance. So from my CCP, which is college career prep, all the way up to honors level, I've seen success and students enjoying working with this program at all levels. So how does it help? It is an interactive system, so it allows students to kind of move things around. It allows them to kind of play around and get ideas rather than just being told this is what it does. Visual, they're very visual friendly. There's always colors to them. There's always a smiley face or some kind of ding, or one of my favorite ones is that it rains down sandwiches as you're doing limiting reactants when you talk about sandwiches as limiting reactants. And it's touch sensitive, so students get to, move things around by themselves rather than just writing on a piece of paper. So for example, one way that I think you could use it is as a visual for complex math and science interactions. I'll be honest with you, one of the toughest things as a science teacher is trying to get people to view numbers and letters together and more as an idea rather than exact things. This, I think, is very helpful for students who suffer from dyslexia or dysgraphia, because it moves away from the letters and numbers so much and focuses more on colors or on shapes to try and help get these ideas across. They also offer a new keyboard ability, which allows students who might have trouble with touch screens to move towards just pressing buttons on a keyboard. So it becomes available to everyone in the classroom rather than people who can just use a touch screen. So what do you need to do to learn about this? First off is always just to use it. I always let kids spend a minute or two kind of playing around and just explore your way around. That's kind of how they're set up and meant to be. Another way is that lessons are actually provided by the simulation website. Teachers and the people who created the simulations upload their own lesson plans where they think that their simulation might be implemented. One way teachers at my school have worked with it is that we will make our own lesson plans around the simulation and create new questions. They also offer shortcuts so that you can jump around in and out of different ideas. And the best part is its price is absolutely free. It is a free online service provided to everyone. As long as you have technology, some way to access the internet, it is free for you to use. And so I would highly recommend this. I personally use it in my classroom and have seen students do really great work with it. They also have talked about enjoying it and having fun learning. It definitely has an inquiry-based kind of lesson aspect to it. But kids do have fun, and there is a little bit of gamification in the quiz games that allows them to test what they know and to challenge themselves without being in a high-risk situation like a summative test. And that's it. So thank you very much, and feel free to visit the PhET simulation website. I highly recommend it if you teach any math or science class.